Hey, it's Sparky, Fifer, 1250 AM, The Fan in snowy Milwaukee, Wisconsin, along with our guy Ryan Horvat, BetMGM tonight, weeknights, Monday through Friday. While the games are going on, check him out, Trista Crick, Nick Ashu, as they go over in-game betting, give you their picks of what's coming up in the late games, that whole deal. Follow him on Twitter at Ryan Horvat. And follow me at Sparky Radio. Aaron Rodgers drama continues, and we'll start with that, obviously. Since last time we talked, Ryan Horvat, we are now at the point where we believe not only did he meet with the Jets, but now we believe compensation is either worked out or close to being worked out. Jeremy Fowler saying on Thursday night that he believes multiple players will be involved in this deal between the Packers and the New York Jets. I guess my first question is, are you okay if it ends up being players coming back instead of draft picks?
No. What kind of players are we talking about? It's not going to be any of the guys that you or I want. I don't want, Denzel Mims coming back in the deal. I don't want any of the wide receivers. I mean, let Rodgers.
I thought you liked their wide receivers.
For Rodgers, I like Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, and would rather get the draft picks to take young wide receivers who you're going to get on a rookie contract. I'd rather have Jackson Smith and Najigba. You know what I mean? Or I'd rather have any of those rookies, man, because you're getting them on a rookie deal. And let's be honest. I know a lot of Packer fans think that this team's going to win 10, 11 games. And if I say that I don't believe that, people think it's a big knock on Jordan Love. It's not. I'm a big fan of Aaron Rodgers. I think he's great, even with a down year.
What about on the defensive side of the ball, Ryan?
Well, this is what I'm saying. So, I don't see enough from that defense. They were 32nd DVOA against the run. They can't cover a simple crossing route. What makes us believe that they're going to be this top 10 defense? And do we believe Jordan Love's going to go out there and hang 35 points every single week? So what I'm saying is Rodgers' first real year. I went back and I'm watching all these games, which is hilarious because Rodgers' second year, they play the Bears in primetime week 1, and it's Jay Cutler's first game. You just see that thing just as a mess from the beginning. The first pass he throws as a Bear, he bobbles the snap, and then he just throws one into the stands. It was hilarious. But they even show Rodgers' numbers and they talk about it. And he had a really good year, and they went 6-10 because, the team wasn't very good. And that's what I'm saying about this defense isn't very good unless they take a huge step upwards, because last year they were a big disappointment. And I'm not a believer in Joe Barry. So what I'm saying is I don't want players coming back in their third or fourth year that then we're going to have to make a decision. Do we pay them? I want rookies. I want draft picks for Aaron Rodgers. That being said, though, I get what's going to happen here. I mean, it goes down to how much money are you going to pay Aaron Rodgers? How much of that are you going to eat? Because it looks like the Packers don't really care about what they get in return. They're just ready to start over and rebuild kind of on the fly here, right? They're going to get fleeced.
Right. That to me is a fireable offense. I don't said it before and I'll say it again. If this is a bad deal, and it sounds like it's going to be, it's a fireable offense. It's a fireable offense for everybody. And it starts from Murphy. It really does. Because Murphy's the one that's in charge of Goody. Goody reports to Murphy. LaFleur reports to him. Russ Ball reports to him. So when things go sideways, all roads lead to Mark Murphy for being responsible for just getting whatever you can and getting the hell out of Dodge versus opening it up, seeing what other teams are interested and wanting to play ball. You decide you're going to deal with one team, maybe because he wants to go there, to go with Hackett or whatever. Who knows? I don't know how this is going. It definitely seems like, here, I'm going to do this with you. I forgot who brought it up on Twitter. Somebody brought it up to me about a pie chart, whatever else. So here, make me a pie chart. What percentage of the pie chart is the Packers don't want Aaron Rodgers? And what percentage of the pie chart is Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to be on the Packers, do you think right now?
I think Aaron Rodgers, I would say, I think it's 90-10 that they don't want him back. They're ready to move on. Here's what I think happens here, Sparky, right? I think that last year they realized that this roster isn't good enough to win a Super Bowl, right? They weren't good enough last year to make the playoffs. They couldn't beat the Lions. And so I think that now it comes down to, Rodgers probably has one good year left, maybe 2 good years left in him. He had a down year. It's time to move on because you probably have to make a choice. You have to make a decision. It's Jordan Love or Aaron Rodgers. and they've probably seen enough from Jordan Love. They're still probably not fully sold on him, but now it's time to evaluate Jordan Love. Like, I've calmed down a little bit, and I kind of understand what the Packers are doing here. They don't think this roster is good enough. They're not going to go out and say that, though.
Who assembled the roster?
Brian Gutekunst.
The guy that assembled the roster is the guy that gave the Rodgers the gigantic contract and then followed it up with giving him 2 rookie wide receivers to rely on the entire season. It's almost like he sabotaged Rodgers from the beginning.
Well, I've been saying this, and you guys all come at me, and everybody calls me crazy. I'm not the biggest, Brian Gutekunst.
I don't try to come at you.
All right, so not you. I mean, like, the people on social media do. But here's the thing. I'm not a big, Goot's kind of been a disaster the last couple of years. These drafts, I mean, the defense
was good.
Yeah. But the defense still, they can't stop the run. And I get it's a passing league, so they built up that secondary. But Rasul Douglas, he gave that contract to, regressed. Devondre Campbell regressed. He had more missed tackles by week 8 than he had week 4 than he had all of last season. A lot of these draft picks, Savage makes me want to rip my eyeballs out with a fork. And the free agent signings have been fine. They haven't got Kenny Clark enough help, in my opinion. So, and then you look at last year, you trade away Devontae Adams. You get a linebacker in return that's fought more trainers and assistant coaches than Rocky Maivia fought boxers in movies. So, I'm not fully sold on him yet, even though I do like him. I would give Goody a C- the last couple of years. Again, my problem was he gave up 300 yards on the ground in an NFC championship game, 200 to a track star backup running back, and you don't go out and address the defense. You take a backup quarterback. And I would have been fine with that if you were okay, we're taking Jordan Love, it's Rodgers' final year. They had just committed to Rodgers before that and paid him. Remember, man? Yep. And so you can say it was a down year, but you won 13 games with him being a game manager. Go out and get him T. Higgins or fix the defense. There was too much talent in that draft to go Jordan Love, unless you fully believe that Jordan Love is that guy, which they didn't even know going into last year, man. And that's why they paid Rodgers again. So they're going back. There's no plan.
So tell me this.
A real owner, Goody would be on the hot seat.
Right.
But this team is run by fans.
If he would have went 13-3 with those two rookie wide receivers, went and lost the conference championship game to Philadelphia, would we still be talking about Aaron Rodgers being done?
No.
So at what point was Aaron Rodgers done? Because again, Rodgers and Cobb walked off arm in arm like they knew it was over. So was the conversation had with Rodgers in the middle of the year? Because in the middle of the year, Gutekunst, who apparently is full of crap, was telling everybody that Rodgers gives us the best chance to win, even though Jordan Love had greatly improved. We knew this. Rodgers gives us the best chance to win. I gave him that big contract, the expectation he was going to play. Of course he's going to be here. Go talk to Aaron, whatever. Then the season gets done, and Rodgers is like, well, hey, I don't know. Do they want me? Do they not want me? And I was on this podcast going, they've never said they don't want you publicly. Now, what Goody was saying to us versus what Goody was saying to him, apparently we are learning some stuff, I think, at this point, that apparently you can't trust that dude in anything he ever says. And that is crap. And maybe at some point I'll move on. And again, us as fans, we shouldn't expect anybody to tell us the truth from a sports team. They get paid to lie, apparently, or whatever the case may be. And that's fine. But I don't know, man. I think if I was Aaron Rodgers, I'd just be like, no. I'd be like, Goody, I'm playing for the Packers. So do what you want to do with it. OTAs are volunteer. I'm not coming. I'll be at the one I have to come to, and I'll be there this summer. So you want to make an open competition between me and Jordan Love? Do what you got to do. You want to spend $60 million and have me on the bench behind Jordan Love? Let's see what the league thinks of you. Go ahead. Do what you got to do, buddy. But I'm playing for the Packers. I'm ending my career in Green Bay. I don't want to play for anybody else. I'm not retiring because I think I got enough left. So that's how it is. I'm not going anywhere. Go ahead and cut me if you don't like it. And see what he does.
Man, that's what I was gonna ask. That's what I was gonna ask you. What if he was just like, I'm not leaving. Right. I've been here longer than you guys have, half of you, most of you, and I'm staying here. Right. What are you gonna make me the most expensive backup quarterback in league history?
Go ahead.
Are you gonna cut me? You can't. I'm not going to New York. I'm not going to play there. And they could say, and then the Jets aren't going to make the deal, obviously. They'll go out and get a Jimmy Garoppolo or maybe try something with Lamar. I don't know, because I don't think the Ravens would trade him within the division, or not the division, but within the AFC.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, man. I mean, that's what I don't
Here you
get.
go. Salary cap
And
scenarios for Rodgers, right? From Ken Ingalls.
Yeah.
On Twitter. Currently, cap hit is $31.6 million. Okay.
Right.
If they trade him, it's $40.3 million. If they trade him after June 1st, which means you're not getting draft picks this year, it's $15.8 million this year, and then another $24.5 million cap hit in 2024 next year. Post June, if he retires, $40.3 million cap hit. So it would be an additional $8.5 million cap hit if he retires. If he retires after June 1st, $15 million, $8 million cap hit this year, $24.5 million pay cut or cap hit in 2024. Cutting. If they were to cut him, Rodgers goes, the hell with you. I'm playing. And Goody goes, get the hell out. You're done. Cap hit's $99.8 million. They ain't cutting him. If they cut him post June 1st, they catch a break, Ryan. Then the cap hit is only $75.3 million this year for a cap hit. And next year, the cap hit would be $24.5 million. They can cut him. So if I'm Rodgers, if I want to play, sorry, y'all, I'm playing. You're not forcing me out. I'm not going to get traded to the team where y'all traded Brett. That's BS. I'm not doing that. So I'm playing. I'll beat out Jordan Love and Cam. Each play 2 quarters in preseason, whatever you want to do. I'll outplay with my eyes closed. Let's do this. You want competition? I'll give you a competition. Because you know, and I know, you said last podcast, when this dude gets vengeful and is trying to prove to the world that he can still play, oh, watch out. And you put him in that situation, if I was Rodgers, I think that's what I'd do. To hell with you. I'm playing. I don't give a damn. I'm playing and I ain't going anywhere else.
Well, yeah, because I'm staying in the NFC. Especially if he believes in his teammates. I don't know, though. I mean, what if he gets pissed off because they burn the cheesehead? Guy's still a Packer. He's been a Packer for almost 2 decades now. He loves the Packers. This comes down to, if he wants to leave, it isn't that he wants to leave Green Bay. It isn't that he wants to leave LaFleur. It's in most of his teammates, guys like Bakhtiari. It would be that he doesn't think the team's good enough and maybe he wants one more shot at a Super Bowl because he knows that's what his legacy comes down to. But I don't know, man, because he said so many times that his legacy for him, he was like, it's nobody does this anymore. Nobody retires with the team they're drafted by. That's special to me.
Right.
Well, and I believe him more than I believe Gutekunst. And I also have no problem, though, with Gutekunst being a liar to us or with the Green Bay media. I have no issue with that, to be honest, because he's a businessman and that's what he's there to do. All these guys, they all BS. Oh, we're committed to Tua. And then they're making phone calls trying to get Tom
Lamar.
Brady. I have no issue with that with Goody. But I do have an issue with something with Savage being a complete bust. And, Stokes looked good his rookie year. And then before he even got hurt, he looked like a bum out there. Quay needs to stop fighting people.
All right, here's another one. The talk of, well, the Packers could pay some of Aaron Rodgers' contract and move him. Ken Ingalls says on Twitter, if Aaron Rodgers is traded and they pay down or eat some of the 2023 cash due to Rodgers on the way out the door, whatever they pay goes on top of the $40.3 million dead cap hit for 2023. So they go, okay, we'll pay $10 million of the $59 that he's owed. Now that cap hit is $50 million this year.
Yeah.
I mean, they're screwed either way. The least amount of cap hit is if he plays this year.
See, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, when you did this deal, I thought that this deal guaranteed that Aaron
2 years.
2 years.
Yep.
And so what I'm saying is I would rather, I hate to say this because the team sucked last year, but I'd rather go in with one last time. The problem is you can't do a whole lot. You have to restructure everybody's deals. You're not, I don't know though. I'm not the salary cap guy, but what if you
the other thing is the Jeremy Fowler deal about how there's multiple players. So now people think Bakhtiari's going.
That ain't happening.
That saves them $5 million on the cap hit if they trade David Bakhtiari. It saves the Packers $5 million. And then next year they get out of his contract for next year. If it's Bakhtiari and Rodgers, let's say that's the deal. What do you want back for picks?
I mean, I want a lot because Bakhtiari is when he was out there and he actually started and finished games, he was Bakhtiari again. He graded out very well. Go and watch the tape. He was freaking awesome. And you just paid Elton Jenkins. I mean, even if you're going over to Jordan Love, I want this to be a rebuild on the fly. Look at what the Eagles did. The Eagles won a Super Bowl. They were like, we got to get away from Carson Wentz. And Nick Foles is old. And they drafted Jalen. And then last year they played in a Super Bowl. And now they're the favorite to win the NFC again. You could do that if Jordan Love is any good. And so I want back a lot. But the problem is, man, if Bakhtiari and Rodgers go over there, I almost like want my picks in 2 years because Rodgers isn't. I don't know. I mean, you really have to believe
That's a good idea.
If you're not getting your picks this year,
you're saying like 2025.
You really have to believe that he's washed. You know what I mean?
2025 is when you'd want your picks.
Yeah, you have to believe he is like really old balls. He's Peyton Manning. Like he can't make and that's the thing. He's not. I watched every game from last year. Rodgers missed some throws. He made some really good throws. He had no faith, no confidence. And let's be honest, he was a piss poor leader last year. Like he was crabby. He looked like week 1, right? He comes out blazing, perfect throw to Christian Watson. And then after that dropped, LaFleur was even like trying to calm him down. Like, all right, dude, there's going to be some growing pains. It looked like just after that for opening drive of the season, he was like, out of hell with it. Seriously.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you on that.
And like the years, look at the years where he's elite. The years where he stinks, because he's had some down years before, Rodgers has. It wasn't just, the year where they drafted Jordan Love. I mean, there were some years where they had 9-10 wins. I mean, the teams weren't very good. But he's even admitted like, oh, I had my MVP season because I started deadlifting and squatting again, or I went back and I watched my film. Well, you should be doing that every offseason then, man. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to hear that crap. You're talking at a mushroom fest in 2 weeks,
right?
Talking about LSD. Get your ass in front of the TV, do your squats, do whatever you got to do. You got plenty of time at night to eat your mushrooms and your psychedelics. During the day, do some damn work. That's how things work. Or else you're a burnout at the age of, you're pushing 40 and you're like me in college when I was sitting around playing Mario Kart with my buddies. This is the opposite. Like you're supposed to be maturing now as you get older.
If
you go through a midlife crisis,
maybe, I don't know. If you're the Jets and you go, hey, dude, tell you what, we'll take Bakhtiari off your hands and that big contract, free up a lot of salary for you, right? After this year, we'll get you Zach Wilson back because Rodgers is our guy. We're probably not going to be able to rebuild Zach Wilson's confidence. He's going to sit here for 2 years now, whatever, behind Aaron. So we're going to be in a situation like you all are with Jordan Love. You get a younger version, younger quarterback, right? That's just brand new in the league. If Jordan Love doesn't work out, Tom Clements is a miracle worker with Jordan Love. If he can work something out with Zach Wilson, we know he's got the arm. That makes sense. Maybe they would want Zach Wilson back to be the backup to Jordan Love. And some competition for Jordan Love. And then if Jordan Love doesn't want to agree to a long-term contract, they turn to Zach Wilson going forward.
I'm tempted to sign off of this podcast right now.
Why?
Because I hate Zach.
We don't know if Jordan Love is going to be any good. We have no
promise
idea.
You he's better than Zach Wilson. If he's not better than Zach Wilson, I can't. Then I promise you that Jordan Love is already better than Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson cannot complete a simple screen pass. Like he really can't, though. It sails over the receiver's head. No. If it's not Jordan Love, we move on and we draft quarterbacks every other year. I don't care. I would rather, because here's what I'm saying. If Jake Haener really does slip in this draft, I feel like I'm the only person that's talking about Jake Haener. I know he's 6'1", but draft him. Like
you make all the throws.
Kirk Cousins isn't the tallest guy, and like I know people will laugh. It's Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is not a bad quarterback, man. Russell Wilson, not the tallest guy. I really like Jake Haener.
Drew Brees.
Every throw. And he's got a little like Rodgers. Rodgers, we've all stood, like if you've stood next to Rodgers, so he's labeled at 6'2", right? I think Rodgers is 6', 6'1". He's just got some calves, man, on him. But he's not the tallest guy. He's not 6'4", 6'5". So with Haener, he's not 5'10". He's not Caleb Williams. He's 6 foot flat. That's the reason that nobody wanted him in college. Like Lincoln Riley, he wanted to play at USC. He wanted to play for Lincoln Riley, and they straight up told him he was too short. So he's got that Rodgers chip on his shoulder. Same thing. Rodgers only had 2 D1 offers. One of them was Illinois, and I forgot who the other one was. So he went to Butte Community College, but that was the knock on him. Not great mechanics, and he was really small. He was only like 5'10", 5'11" in high school. So, you know what I'm saying? I'd rather take a shot with Jake Haener than Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson stinks. His own teammates he's still on that team, Sparky, and his teammates are on IG burning cheeseheads and just begging Aaron Rodgers to come. They're like, hey, man, we got the defense. We got Breece Hall, but man, do we got a bum at quarterback. Zach Wilson is watching that at home.
That's what I say. They got to move him. They can't keep him
forever. That's like that's like if you're a guy in high school or grade school and a girl tells every girl in the school you were a bad kisser. Your confidence is shot forever. Nobody's ever going to want to touch you. Zach Wilson may be playing against the DC Defenders here in a couple weeks. I may see him in the XFL or the USFL.
Come on. Geno Smith could figure it out and come back and get, as much money this upcoming year that he had his whole career. Surely Zach Wilson could turn it around and Geno Smith figured it out.
Hold on. Geno Smith never really lost his job when you remember that, though. He just got punched in the face and broke his jaw. That wasn't fair.
Well, maybe not. All right, let's go on to the next topic. Which veteran free agent wide receiver do you want? Mike Clay put out this list, ESPN dude. All right, Juju Smith-Schuster, free agent wide receiver. Now, again, Goody, providing we trust Goody. I don't. But providing we trust Goody, it's saying that he wants a veteran wide receiver for that free agent, for that wide receiver room next year. If that's the case, and if we're assuming Randall Cobb is going wherever Rodgers is going, this is going to be your choice of free agent wide receivers. Juju Smith-Schuster, want him with those two guys that we got? Well, actually, you got more than that. I mean, you got Toure on that team as well. So what do you think?
I'm not sure I'm going to want any of these guys. Really quick, Randall Cobb is the Aaron Rodgers, what Jack Haley, rest in peace, of course, was the Dennis Rodman in Chicago.
Yes.
He's just going to be like latch on to him. He's barely going to play anywhere else. I don't really want Juju. I like Juju, like running underneath routes. He's pretty much a tight end. He would be an upgrade over Allen Lazard, I think. I think Allen Lazard's a better blocker. I know Allen Lazard's a better blocker, but he would fill that Allen Lazard role. But I feel like Allen Lazard would be cheaper just to bring back because I don't think he's getting the $11 to $13 million that they're projecting.
Well, the Bears do have a lot of money, so you never know.
Yeah, but oh my God, I'll feel terrible for Justin Fields. They need speed, and I don't think Allen Lazard
all they want to do is run Justin Fields. They need a wide receivers that can block for Justin Fields.
That's not what they should be doing with Justin Fields, man. Justin Fields was one of the better passing quarterbacks the last 10 years. And
no. They don't trust Justin Fields, and that's why they went to the scheme they went to have him run, because they didn't trust him throwing the ball anymore. They said, to hell with it. Then we'll just run it with you, and we'll score that way. That's what happened. They don't trust him. And if we come back this year with the Bears and he runs just as much, they don't trust him throwing the ball. That's all it comes down to.
They should trade Justin Fields for Jordan Love straight up. I would do it in a heartbeat. What do you think about that?
No.
Kidding. No, I don't want Juju though. I don't want him.
All right, Jacoby Myers.
Kind of. I would take this is with we're doing this exercise with Jordan Love, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I would like Jacoby Myers. I think he'd be a good fit because Christian Watson's your speed guy. And you could play him on the outside. You could play him in the slot. He could be a gadget guy for LaFleur. Yeah. For the right deal, I would. I don't want to overpay for him, though.
DJ Chark.
Yeah, kind of the same thing. It would have to be a team. I don't think he would take a friendly deal. I think he's going to look to get paid. But, yeah, I would take DJ Chark, too.
McCole Hardman.
No.
Obviously, Lazard is the next one. Paris Campbell.
No.
Adam Thielen. Yeah, right. I'm with you. I think I'd consider it.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know how much, like, he is old, like in football terms, he's still young. But he looked old last year. He looked like he had lost a step. And if Goody didn't want to bring back Jordan Love, even though he had that, or Jordan Nelson, even though he had that chemistry with Rodgers, I don't know if you're going to bring in Adam Thielen, unless he's like really, really cheap.
Robert Woods.
Yeah, because he's familiar with the LaFleur system. In fact, that's who I want. Problem is, the knee injuries for Robert Woods.
Yes.
The last couple of years. But still, you're not relying upon him a whole lot. So if he does get injured, he's not one of your top three guys. Well, he's one of your top three guys. I like Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson going into next season. Absolutely on that one.
Julio Jones.
God, no.
Jarvis Landry.
God, no.
Marvin Jones Jr.
He's your age. No.
Shut up. And OBJ.
Yes.
He's working out today, I think, for teams.
The only thing is like, he okay? Did you see that plane video? Like, just like, wake up, guy. Like you, I can imagine. I hate flying, Sparky. If I ever had to land a flight and it wasn't to my destination, and I found out it was because of Odell frickin' Beckham Jr., who already scorned us the year that he could have came. Yep. You know what? Actually, changed my mind. No, screw Odell Beckham Jr., and I'll tell you why. Because they would have won the Super Bowl if Odell Beckham Jr. would have came to Green Bay. when he got moved, and he ended up going obviously to the Rams. They end up winning the Super Bowl because it would have been an extra weapon for Rodgers against that San Francisco defense.
Right.
And again, the biggest what if to me, what pains me the most, the Tampa Bay loss sucked because the Packers that year were a better team than the Buccaneers. If they played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a 7-game series, they would have won that series. Probably. But the problem was, man, David Bakhtiari got hurt a couple weeks prior. If he's out there, Rodgers got the crap kicked out of him. He got sacked 5 times in that game. He was running for his life, and and Kevin King stunk that day. But the one that pains me more was not this year, but the year before, obviously, because you lose to San Francisco off a block punt and block kick. They don't even score an offensive touchdown. Packers were in cruise control. Rodgers had the big coat on. And then the following week, you would have got that overrated Rams team who, yeah, they won a Super Bowl, but they beat the Bengals, who were combined like 100 years old. And you would have got them at home. Matthew Stafford would have got knocked out of that game. They would have destroyed the Rams just like they did the year before. Jalen Ramsey would have got cooked by Devontae Adams. That's what pains me. But anyway, so no on Odell Beckham Jr.
All right, one last topic. We're going to go from Packers to Lamar Jackson and the odds on Lamar Jackson. Now, these odds came out 2 days ago prior to now being Friday morning as they're doing major restructures on Tyreek Hill and a couple other guys. They cleared $40 million in cap space as of Friday morning at last check prior to us recording this at noon on Friday afternoon. These were the odds as of 2 days ago, okay?
Okay.
16-1, San Francisco 49ers.
We were talking about that on the show. Imagine that offense. Like,
I don't think they're even involved for him right now. Not that I've heard.
That's a Madden team. What'd you say?
I haven't even heard the Niners even being involved in wanting Lamar Jackson.
You know what? I think the Niners, they're going in with Trey Lance because I think now you could evaluate Trey Lance, right? You gave up, even if I don't think Kyle Shanahan probably wants to go to Trey Lance, but John Lynch sure as hell does, right? Because he gave up all that draft capital for Trey Lance. So you kind of have to go to him. So I think now is the perfect time to do so because you could evaluate him for a couple weeks. If he's a complete bum, you got Brock Purdy, who's not going to be healthy. He's not going to be able to throw a football. We don't know when he's going to be healthy.
They said 3 months. He had the surgery this morning, and they said he'll be able to start throwing in 3 months. So that would be what, April, May, June. So like beginning of July, be able to start throwing.
So let's say the Niners start 1-2, or they start, they're not scoring points. You make that transition really quick. Sure. Pull Trey Lance. I'm not done with Trey Lance the way that everybody on social media is, though. His rookie year, he started 2 games. He won one of them, and he played all right. Second game, not great. He looked like a rookie, just like Jordan Love would have looked or any other rookie quarterback would have looked. And then last year, man, that week 1, he made some really nice throws, actually. If you go back, you watch that game. The problem was he played underneath water in Soldier Field, the dump of a field. And then week 2, Shanahan has him out there treating him like Mike Allstott, and he breaks his leg. So I'm not out on Trey Lance yet. I actually want to evaluate him the same way we want to see Jordan Love. But I could see Tom Brady coming back and playing in San Francisco before I see Lamar ending up there. I can. And I think that a new rule should be NFL players like Brady. You shouldn't be able to retire until 2 months after the season. Brady was in his feelings. He's walking around that beach lonely, coming off a divorce, all beat up. You know he wants to come back and play.
No, you shouldn't be able to retire till after kickoff of week 1 of the following year.
That's fair.
That's when you should, once we know you're not on a damn roster and you aren't playing for sure. Carolina and Washington, both 12-1 for Lamar Jackson.
Man, I mean, if Washington had an owner that the problem is the Dan Snyder mess that's going on right now. So if anybody comes in and buys that team, or if Dan Snyder wants to do like one more thing for his, I'm using the quotation marks, legacy,
going away,
goes all in for Lamar and hampers him with a bad contract, which I don't think would be a bad contract because I love Lamar. I don't think either team, though, no.
Okay. Next up, the Atlanta Falcons have already said they're out, so you forget.
Yeah, but I don't believe that.
What?
I don't believe that Atlanta's out.
You think somebody else is lying to us?
Yeah, I think everybody is lying to us. I'm like, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Don't trust anybody. Why would Atlanta be out on Lamar Jackson, man? I like CJ Stroud. I like Bryce Young. I like all these dudes. They're not Lamar Jackson. They're not a former MVP. There wouldn't be a more marketable player. You put him out there with all that speed, what you're building on offense. Yeah, you don't have a defense, but in that division,
right?
Your biggest threat is the Saints with Derek Carr.
Right.
Who everybody is hyping up way too much.
Yes.
So, no, I don't believe Atlanta. I think that they...
Okay. Raiders. 9-1. This is from Bet Online, by the way.
Raiders, yes. I think that the Raiders would go all in for Lamar Jackson. Devontae Adams wants to be involved in the decision on who his next quarterback is, right?
He'd
Jarrett
love Lamar
Stidham
Jackson.
is not going to be – he would love Lamar Jackson. And it's Las Vegas. They have to continue to make big splashes. There's a reason why there's a team in Las Vegas. They don't care about Super Bowls, man. It's an attraction. So, yes, Lamar Jackson to Vegas, I think, is a real possibility.
Dolphins 9-1. I'm assuming this has to move. Again, these are from 2 days ago. This number has got to be moving now. I know they're clearing cap space. I'm guessing it's changing rapidly. You're the betting guy more than I am, but 9-1 as of 2 days ago.
This would be my bet. Lamar's a Florida guy. He loves Florida. Imagine Lamar Jackson, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. And the problem with Miami and Mike McDaniel calling the plays, who I absolutely love. The problem is he was the run game coordinator for San Francisco. We all expected them to have this great run game, and they didn't because Chase Edmonds failed. Now,
he
man.
quit running the ball by the end of the year. I mean, he just quit. Just said, the hell with it. I'm just throwing the ball 50 times a game. Like, he just quit on the running game.
Yeah, because what happened was Raheem Mostert only looks like Barry Sanders when he plays against the freaking Packers in the NFC Championship game, so they couldn't get him going. Chase Edmonds, they got rid of after like 2 weeks. Yeah, Lamar to Miami is what I think is going to end up happening.
All right, next one. The Tennessee.
Sorry, I was going to say, as mad as I am at Goody and the Packers, at least Rodgers is pushing 40. Imagine if they were just like, we're not going to pay Aaron Rodgers at 27 years old. If Ted was like, out of hell with you.
Yes.
I would break everything. Yeah.
Yes, you would. Tennessee and New England 7-1. There's some rumbles out there about the Patriots might sneak in from nowhere to steal Lamar Jackson. I don't know. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if Belichick did that, but would Belichick be able to coach? I mean, he's never coached a guy that can do what Lamar Jackson can do. He's always coached statues.
With Bill O'Brien calling the plays too. I think they're gonna stick with Mac. I mean, I keep seeing these trade rumors. I don't know what I believe anymore. Because I thought that the reason that they brought Bill O'Brien, that doofus, back to call plays was because of his relationship. I mean, he is a doofus.
Calling everybody.
He traded DeAndre Hopkins
for
David Johnson, pushing 30 years old.
Yeah.
He was up 3 scores on the Kansas City Chiefs in his own territory, and he fakes a punt against Patrick Mahomes. Like, he is a doofus. That's me being nice, actually. This is a family podcast.
Right.
I think the reason he's back there calling the plays is because he worked with Mac Jones, and they won a Heisman together at Bama, the national title. So I think they stick with Mac.
All right. And then Tennessee, they're in complete rebuild. They got rid of their center. They got rid of like 5 really good players so far. So forget Tennessee. Jets 6-1. It looks like Rodgers is headed there. But wouldn't you rather have Lamar Jackson?
Yes.
Right?
Like imagine you right. Like, yeah, I mean, you go from because this team's so young. And yeah, you're gonna have to pay some guys and you're gonna lose some guys the same way the Bengals are gonna lose some guys, but you won't lose Garrett Wilson. Brees Hall will have a couple years before and he's a running back, so you'll get a new guy in there. And that defense.
But you're not going to pay him any more than you're going to have to pay Rodgers this year. I mean, so from that perspective, I get 26 in 5 years, or Aaron Rodgers in 1.5 or maybe 2 years out of Aaron Rodgers before he decides to quit and go away. I don't know. When they put that tag on Lamar Jackson, the Jets should have told Aaron, hold on. Timeout. 20. We'll be back to you. Just don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And I'm calling to Baltimore, and I want to hey, I want to talk to dude. I want to talk to dude and see what dude wants, because dude's his own agent. You don't even have a damn agent. It's him and his mother that are running his affairs, Horvat, which I think is absolutely insanity as well.
I wish the Packers could trade Aaron Rodgers for Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. Sure.
In a perfect world. That's what I would want, though. Yeah,
sure,
I mean, I would say Aaron gets to go to Baltimore. So he goes to the AFC. He's got a top 5 defense. He doesn't have any weapons, though.
Right. None.
He can bring Cobb with him and Mercedes Lewis and the rest of the retirement home. The Joy Luck.
The last 3. Colts 5-1. Buccaneers
no,
9-2. No. Colts 5-1. Buccaneers 9-2. Lions 3-1.
No on the Buccaneers. Buccaneers are rebuilding. Lions. Man, I would feel kind of bad for Jared Goff. He had a really good year in that system with Ben Johnson. But if Lamar Jackson goes to Detroit, I think they're Super Bowl contenders.
Immediately.
Right. I mean, that offense with Lamar,
yes.
The defense isn't very good yet, except for when they play against Aaron Rodgers with the season on the line.
But again, there's nobody in the NFC right now.
Like the 85 Bears. But yeah, I mean, there's nobody in the NFC North. The Bears are years away from being any good. And if we judge by history, that's never happening again. And then you have the Vikings. The Vikings are not going to be relevant for years. Za'Darius wants to leave. Shocker. Captain Za'Darius already out. That defense is going to be so bad. That might be historically one of the worst defenses in NFL history this year, the Vikings. Anybody that I did like on the defensive side of the ball is gone.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I mean, if I'm Detroit, I'm going all in, man. You never have before. Why not? Because the NFC North is wide open for the first time in decades.
Right.
Because you went from Brett to Aaron. And yeah, there was a couple of years like where the Bears traded all the picks for Jay Cutler. There was the year where Trubisky won the NFC North. There was last year for Minnesota. But it's always the only time anybody else wins the division is when Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre get hurt.
Right.
Or they just have pouty seasons where they just want to throw picks and be D-bags. So
yep. He has Ryan Horvat. He is not a D-bag. I'm Steve Sparky, Fifer, sometimes maybe. At Sparky Radio, he's at Ryan Horvat. BetMGM tonight. Catch him weeknight, Tim. Just a crick. Nick Ashu. Weeknights while the games are going on. Check those guys out. Give you in-game betting tips and tell you what they bet during the game. Get you the late games going on in the NBA or in baseball when we get to baseball season. And of course, the NCAA tournament time. You are not going to want to miss any show with Ryan Horvat because he's going to make you a bunch of money during the NCAA tournament. Ryan Horvat, thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. And if the trade happens this weekend, we'll do an emergency podcast. If not, we'll do our normal show again on Monday. Have a good one. Toodles.